This step is moving and mounting the engine and transmission up into the chassis. You will note that the chassis is 90 degrees down on the driver's side. The theory here of what's going on and the practice is that we will be moving the engine, which is on the modified transmission mount, a little bit underneath the car so that it's straight, and then we can use the wheels that are on the chassis mount rotisserie to be able to get it lined up. And then what will happen is we will roll the chassis down like this over the top as we push the engine in just a little bit. And then once it's squarely within this area, which is where the engine goes, then we will begin a procedure of jacking the engine up in and using the tilt forward and back in order to be able to get it up there. One thing we'll note is that the limiting factors are typically the pulleys on the front of the engine here and this bracket right here as we get down closer to having it up, and then making sure also that we're clear on the sides of the brake lines and other fragile things as we come up, and then make sure that we bring up, and we're trying to align these square holes, which will hold carriage bolts pointing down into the transmission bolt-on cross member mount that is right there, which remember we left loose in order to be able to make sure that we got it in. So this one is loose. And those will take the same carriage bolts that will go in these holes downward to go through these holes in the outer member bolt-on plates. One note there is that as we bolt this in, we'll be using drift pins through these top holes and in through these to be able to get the carriage bolts in all the way around, and then we will be putting it up underneath with the nylon flange lock nuts. Are there any torque specs on these?
No, we have to confirm those torque specs.
You'll confirm those and you'll see them in the build manual.